Hi, I'm Cheyenne Bryant, a spiritual life coach. I hold credentials in the field of psychology. My purpose is to assist individuals and serve them so that they can get in contact with their emotions and begin their process of healing. I look forward to planting positive seeds in all individuals I come in contact with. An individual cannot give what they do not have. So, Brittany, what brings you here today? What's going on?
Well, there's several things that I can say I've been going through, emotional-wise. Not just only in my career growth, education-wise, and I'd say personal as well. So, I talk to friends often. I try to vent on how things are, but sometimes I guess because people can't really put themselves in your shoes or try to see how you see things, they're judgmental. So I just need some type of, doctoral advice, I guess I could say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say you need advice or assistance, what are you referring to? I heard you say career-wise and emotional-wise.
Right. Well, currently I'm a certified paralegal, okay. So I went to school for that. But I'm working on my degree as well, my communications degree. But I guess just trying to maintain a full-time work schedule, a full-time school schedule, a marriage, I find myself imbalanced a lot and overwhelmed by, I guess, a lot of matters. So.
Okay. Okay. So let me appropriately confront you in the sense of everything that you're telling me are all images and masks that you're using to hide from what's really going on. So again, what's going on emotionally, meaning what do you feel, where's the pain coming from, and what's the core of the problem? Because being a paralegal, going to school, going to work, those aren't issues. Those are goals. And those are positive things that can be implemented in your life that obviously can help you in a positive way. Those aren't causing impairments from what I'm hearing you say. So what is causing you an impairment? What has you feeling imbalanced?
I would say because there are so many good things going on in my life where I don't feel like I'm benefiting or showing what I actually have worked for. Or I find myself always stressed out, always overwhelmed, and never getting to enjoy any of my free time, any of my money per se, So I think that's really what I see myself where I'm not right now. And I don't know if I wish it would come faster or.
You see yourself where you're not right now?
Well, basically, I just see myself having better quality things than I have, being able to pamper myself more than I do.
So why aren't you?
I guess it's my schedule. To me, I'm working. I wake up at 4 o'clock every morning. I don't come home from school till 10 o'clock at night. So those little hours that I have, I have 4 dogs at home. I have a partner to attend to. The housework chores. I'm overwhelmed, I guess I can say.
No, and I can totally see how you can be overwhelmed with all of your responsibilities. Do you believe that? Do you believe in free will? Do you believe in choice?
I do. And I know that I've made some bad choices and I made some good choices. And I know there's choices that I possibly can currently change my situation. I think it'd be the fear of actually changing them and being in a different environment, which is somewhat holding me back, I guess.
Okay. And you said fear. Good. If you only are harvesting fear and pain internally, then you will only be receptive to receiving pain and fear and also projecting pain and fear onto other individuals. Good work. What does fear mean to you? What is fear to you?
Well, I know it's an emotion. It's one of the 4 major emotions, but
you're working with your intellect.
Right.
I need you, which is great. You're doing amazing. However, when I say what is fear, when I'm asking questions, you're working from a mental place, which is your intellect. But when we are experiencing pain, where we are needing healing, that's coming from an emotional place, which is here. So until you get in contact with how you feel, you're not going to be able to heal your pain so that you.
When a person is working from a place of love, they are opening their self, their chakras up to receiving love and also projecting and giving love.
Because our mind is not feeling, so we can't feel, deal, or heal with our mental capacity. That's only in an emotional place. So when I say what is fear, what do you feel when you're in a state of fear?
I feel anxiety, of course. I feel alone I'm the only one who can make this work or try to make this work, no matter what possible.
Can make what work?
Just anything possible. I guess I'm the only child, so I've always been such a go-getter. I've always been the center of attention, everything. And I think I've been held to such a standard my whole life that I sometimes think I'm falling short and I'm not doing what is expected of me and my parents, and things like that.
So what's expected of you?
To be successful. I mean, of course, I am currently successful, but I guess just looking along some of my peers that I've grown up with, they're farther advanced in their career than I am. I've let a lot of relationships get in my way. I've let a lot of fear, like you said, even just having opportunities to expand, but just wanting to stay back home and stay where I am because I'm afraid if I step out, will I be successful? So.
Okay. So 2 things. You said, I already am successful, but I'm afraid if I step out, am I going to be successful? So I'm going to ask you, are you successful or are you in a state of fear of stepping out to become successful? Which one are you?
Love and fear is the same emotion. They are just felt and experienced differently. Love and fear cannot occupy the same space at once. So when you are in fear, you're not loving. And when you are in a space of love, fear is not occupying that space.
I am successful. I've accomplished a lot of things in life that others can't say that they have. I mean, just graduating at the top of my class from school, them advancing me to have a commercial and just be a representative of the school means something to me. I've been speaking Spanish since I was a kid. I can read it and write it. I've taught kids.
That's all intellectual stuff. Can I ask you a question? Do you feel that you're broken emotionally?
Yes.
Like, honestly? Okay. So you named all these amazing, miraculous achievements. Your school, your graduation, you speak different languages, your confidence, you're this, you're that. Okay? Why do you believe that you are successful in those tangible, external things, but you're broken internally, emotionally? Why do you believe that?
I guess because I'm always told, that how good I am at something, but at the same time, I don't think that I am at times. I mean, I slack off. I don't do as much effort.
And why do you not think that you are good at whatever it is that you're doing or involved in?
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to address it directly, I guess.
If you can put a word to it, like a word, it doesn't even have to be a word that makes sense. It could be a noise, a word, a noise, a sound, something to how you feel when you're not feeling good enough at what you're doing. What would that symbol be attached to that feeling?
It would be alone, like I said. I mean, I feel alone often. I guess that's what it is. So even though I am in a relationship, even though I have a lot of friends, sometimes I just feel like everything's just against me.
Okay.
And I'm fearful of that, I guess. So.
Okay. Then let me just offer you this. Often the reason why individuals feel alone is because they are shut off internally, which is emotionally, from the external, or should I say the world in general, which is a choice. We choose to shut ourselves down. So then we choose to be in a lonely state because everything is choice. And when you are shut down from anybody, even if it's just the person you're in a relationship with, you have completely shut yourself down from even obtaining opportunities, blessings, and the world, period. It's impossible to shut ourselves off emotionally toward one person or thing without shutting ourselves off emotionally to everything, including ourselves. And what that causes is a lonely state that we inflict on ourselves because of other issues that we'll try to dig into a little later. However, fear sets in when we shut down. And what fear does is it sabotages ourselves from the fear of the unknown. Because there's only one real reality, which is love. Okay? And love and fear are the same emotion. They're just felt differently. And they can't occupy the same space. So when we are in fear, you are not loving. And when you are loving, you are not in fear. So it's a choice. And another thing I often like to offer is that we create our circumstance and our world in our mind. And as the creator of our world, we have the option to destroy what we create. So if there's something like that lonely feeling you don't like, that fear that sabotages you within your relationships and your opportunities and emotionally has you broken, you can choose to destroy that fear and you can choose love. Obviously it's easier said than done, but with practice and with therapeutic assistance, you definitely can get there. You will get there and you can get there. Mm-hmm. So I want to ask, do you remember when it was that you emotionally shut down?
I think I've had a lot of past relationships, where every relationship I've ever been in, I got cheated on. So it's a whole, I guess, trust factor in others and in myself now, what I have. So that's made me very fearful of sometimes even open up to my best friend, scared of what she may say, what she may think, so.
Which means that you're judging yourself, because we view, our lenses are formed based on how we feel inside. If we often are in fear that others are going to judge us, that's because we have already placed judgment on ourselves every day, all day. We can't see what we don't have. So if you see judgment in other people, it's because you are constantly judging yourself.
Every relationship that I've ever been in, I got cheated on, and it left a scar on me, because just being cheated on is a trust factor. So I don't trust people often as I should, and I don't trust myself, because when I found out that they did cheat, there's actions that I took that weren't appropriate to who I really am. Like I stepped out of character for that, and it scarred me. So I don't know.
So two things. You were scarred prior to the cheating. It just added salt to the wound. However, if you were not scarred prior to you being cheated on or dishonored by your partner, you would have not gave that individual or any of those individuals permission to cheat on you, because your self-worth would have been high enough to know right. You don't deserve that. And two, which you have a lot of awareness, because you said, I don't trust, and I don't trust myself, which I was going to say, and you took the words out of my mouth. That's amazing that you're aware of that. When we're not trusting others, because we don't trust ourselves. Now, you can break up with 5-10 different partners. We will never be with a partner that you can trust until you can trust yourself.
It's important that we fill ourselves up with the things that we want to be able to receive from other individuals, because it is a law of attraction.
Because remember, we can only give and receive what we have. That's why self-worth is so significant to our success in the world, period. In a personal life or in the business world, regardless. Because we can only give what we have. Because it's learned behavior, and we can't put out what we don't have. If I have a glass of Coke and you ask me for 7-Up, I don't have it. Right. I can only give what's in my glass. That's it. So it's important for us to fill our glass up, again, choice, with what we choose our glass to be filled up with. So then we can be receptive to receiving more of that, and we also have that to give in our relationships, all relationships in general.
Yeah, and along with that, every relationship I'm in, I've carried the financial burden. So that takes a toll on the relationship, and it takes a toll. Because I used to always tell my mom, like, why is every person that I date, why do I always end up, just being in that position? And she's like, well, maybe it's not the people that you actually pick up, but it's who you are, what you're allowing to happen, and what you're okay with and passive with. And I'm tired of being passive about things. I mean, I deserve to enjoy my life. I work hard all the time. So why, when I'm not busy with what is going on developing me, in my leisure time, why is that not enjoyable for me often? So
answer that question, why is it not enjoyable for you?
I'm always stressed out. That's why. I mean,
and so what's stressing you out?
Like I said, I never really have time for myself. I mean, I'm always on the go.
So what would happen if you cut off the things or people who are enabling you or disabling you from doing what is called self-care? Because self-care is a priority. We don't take care of self, we can't take care of nobody else.
Right.
And that's just the law, not my opinion. So what would happen if you magically cut off these things or people that would allow you to provide self-care for yourself?
I think that's what I'm scared of, because I've always just taken care of people. So I guess, I'm somewhat codependent, that's what I've been labeled as, so it's...
Are you afraid of yourself?
I'm not afraid of myself. I think sometimes I am afraid of being alone, though, so I accept what comes my way and what I deal with, and I just try to overlook it.
But what happens? Okay, so what's so bad about being alone?
I don't know. I've never done it.
Right. So because what happens when we're alone, we are forced to get in contact with our emotions and ourselves. We're forced to put a mirror to our face and look at everything that's going on with us when we're alone. There's no distractions. It's called stillness. When you're still, you're forced to look deep within yourself. And so, just going off what you said, the fact that you are afraid of being alone means that you are afraid of yourself. That you know that when you're alone, that you're going to become vulnerable at some point, and you're going to be exposed to who you really are. And a lot of times, it's not our imperfections, it's not our failures that we're afraid of, it's our power and how strong we are that we're afraid of. And so we often hide behind being a caretaker, taking care of everybody, overcompensating and trying to get degrees in school and so forth, to cover up and mask ourselves from being revealed to ourselves. So what happens is everything that we are experiencing internally manifests physically, and we play it out in our everyday life. In your relationship as a caretaker, in your relationships, how you have given people permission to cheat on you, tells me and yourself that internally your self-worth and your self-esteem is not where you project it to be. Mm-hmm. Because when we talked on the phone a couple weeks ago, you were saying that you're very confident, you have high self-esteem, but those behaviors that you are acting out aren't of a person who has high self-esteem or is confident. And not only that, but, and I'm going to touch on this with love, I'm coming from only a loving place. Whenever a person is experiencing a lot of pain, they often harvest it. And because you're coming from an intellectual place, you're not in contact with your emotions, you've been harvesting that pain, which has a lot to do with weight gain. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's why I say everything internal comes out through our pores. If there's a foreign feeling inside of us, it doesn't stay there. It comes out some kind of way. Whether it's we allow people to cheat on us, we eat and gain weight to a place where it's unhealthy. We mask and make up these things about, I got these degrees, I got this, I got that, I'm confident, I'm secure on this, or we start taking care of people and we forget about ourselves, and that pain goes nowhere. So the broken girl turns into a broken young woman, turns into a broken older woman, and then you're just always broken. And that pain is always harvesting inside of you. What was your childhood like?
The only child, spoiled. I went to private school. I mean, I played the piano. I played water polo. I had a good childhood.
Mom and dad both in the
No,
house?
just mom. Yeah, so, I mean, my mom was everything. She's still everything, so I had a good childhood, but I think that watching sometimes who my mom dated, just the type of person that kind of influenced me in a way, or just, always going against what could be better, always trying to date that thug and just...
Who dated thugs? You did or mom?
No, my mom.
She dated a lot of thugs?
Yeah, so just seeing fast money, just the diamonds, the purses, so sometimes things that come quick aren't always beneficial, and they go fast, so I've learned that.
Did you ever feel alone growing up with mom when she was dating someone or working or in the household? Or
Yeah, because she would turn all her attention over to them, so that's when I turned my back and turned my attention to other things.
Okay.
So.
And what age did you feel that she started giving you less attention and turning it toward other things?
I'll probably say like 12. I played sports all the time, and my mom had been working, of course, a single mother taking care of a child, but I played sports for over 8 years, and she never went to one of my games. And I bring that up to her, and she always tells me, well, you should be over it. I mean, I had to go to work to provide for you and all that, but it's still, I never had that support that I needed. I mean, playing sports is hard. I mean, I played water polo. I was black on an all-white team. So imagine what I had to face on my own, and just from the parents and everything, just coming from a different background than them. So I always had to prove myself, and even if she would have probably showed up to one game, it would have replaced not coming to any at all,
Right. So how did it make you feel when she just didn't show up to the games? What was that experience like?
I just thought she didn't care. I mean, because my grandmother would even come, and she was 65 years old on a cane, and she would walk up those bleachers just to see me. So it's if grandma can do it, why can't mom take off from work one day,
Right.
So.
Right. So you felt hurt and you felt alone in that moment.
Right. And I just felt like anything that I want, I have to do it, whether people are going to support me or not. I mean, I just have to do it on my own, because I mean, when you're the only child, your mom, whatever parent you have that's alone, that's who you depend on. That's who you look up to, And I guess I didn't understand her having to go to work all the time. But then on the weekends, she would be going out with her friends, So it's I didn't feel that support for that I think, I could have.
That connection. Did you ever feel not worthy enough? Did you ever feel not worthy enough for her to be as present and prominent in your life?
I did, because whenever I would do something wrong, either whether it was for attention or I was just really being bad, she would always just send me to my grandma's house. Okay. She never dealt with it directly. It was always dealt indirectly, and then grandma would have to teach me the lessons and the way to be brought up, and so I think that has a lot to do with it too.
Have you ever tried to express to her how you felt about it, how it made you feel?
Yeah, and she just says, I was always busy with work, just trying to make things, and you have to understand, so I let it go.
Perfect. So I see a pattern, pathology, which is what we're all made of, patterns, and learned behavior. Everything is learned behavior. So you were taught how to dismiss your emotions, how to not deal with things, how to harvest things, and then allow them to manifest in your life, how they choose to manifest in your life. Because there's two ways that things manifest in our life. Either they do it the way they choose to do it, which is usually the way that causes an impairment in our life, that causes the what we call a bad experience or a bad circumstance for us. Or we get in contact with our emotions and we put them where we want them to go, and we create our circumstance the way we want them to be. Because see, you're gonna grow whether you want to or not. Either you're gonna grow by surrendering yourself, trusting the process with love, and allowing yourself to go through it with grace, or you're gonna be forced through negative circumstance to grow, which is often called growing pains. When we dismiss our emotions, because you have to feel, deal, in order to heal. We aren't getting in contact with who we really are. That's dishonoring yourself. Not that it's your fault because you were taught this. This is what you learned from mom. You know, she dismissed her emotion, dismissed your emotions. So obviously as a child, you're going to grow up to be a woman who dismisses your emotions, which plays a big role in why you allow and give others permission to dishonor you by cheating, dishonor you by you being the caretaker but not appreciating you and taking advantage of you because you weren't taught, from what I'm hearing you say, how to stand in your power, how to feel strong about what you feel and know that what you feel matters and it's important, because it was never important to mom growing up. So you grew up knowing or feeling, believing I should say, that your emotions are irrelevant in a relationship as well.
Right, but even though my mom dated who she did date, it's a difference between us where she's always been a strong person. I mean, if she tells you she doesn't want to talk to you, then she wouldn't talk to her mate for weeks and be fine about it. You know, but me, I'm always like, well, as soon as they walk out the door, I'm running behind them trying to find out what's going on. Or I'm calling 30, 40 times on their phone because they're not answering the phone. Like, those things are just, they're extreme. And she always asks me, you know, like, why are you like that? Why have you always been so weak in your relationship? And I tell her, I don't know. I mean, I guess like you said, it's that sense of earning and just, I guess I depend on people to make me feel completed. So I think that's what the issue is. Like, even if my best friend, if I was to see her out partying with another friend for a long time, I'd be like, that's not your best friend, I am. So I would feel that neglect, you know, and then she's like, no one can ever be who you are, so don't worry about that, you know. So I think that's what it is. And just like I said, it brings it all back to that feeling alone thing, you know. Yeah. Like, if I lose everyone around me, standing still, will I still be okay? Will I still be productive? So,
will you?
I mean, yes.
I mean, that didn't sound so. Do you believe if you lost everything around you? And just a true, honest answer from the heart. Do you believe if you lost everything around you and everyone, you would still be able to move forward and prevail?
I would have no choice. That's how I kind of treat things. I mean, when you have no choice, you just have to. So
does that mean yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so that means that. So what is the fear of losing them? If you're saying when it's all lost and gone, you know that you'll be able to prevail. It may be difficult, but that won't be your first challenge. I'm sure you've had many challenges, as we all have, mm-hmm. that we have prevailed and been resilient through, right? Mm-hmm. So where's the fear coming from? Because the fear is not, what I'm trying to get at, the fear is not attached to so much of you losing those things now. The fear is because you have a gigantic crack in your foundation that came or was broken before all of these people came in your life. And so you're hanging on to all of them for them to fill this crack in your foundation when, sweetie, they're not going to fill that crack. They are just not ever going to do it. The person that's going to do it, I mean, it's you.
Right. And I feel like everyone loves me all the time at work, home, family. Like, I'm always, like I said, bright, the center of attention. Everyone looks forward to me. But there's a lot of times where I just don't love myself anymore, and I don't know why. I really don't. And people tell me how special I am and how important and the things that I do, but I don't know why I lose it. I just don't. And like, that's why I said I want to be better than who I am, have more than what I have.
Okay. So I want to do something, because I keep hearing you say this, be better than who I am, be better than what I have, right? But I'm successful. I want to be better than what I have, be better than who I am, but I'm successful. There is an internal struggle because those things aren't matching. Because I don't feel like I love myself, but I'm successful. That isn't, because successful people love themselves. They're not just monetarily, externally successful, they're internally wealthy. which is where all your wealth is going to come from anyways. So I just want to do, if you don't mind, I want to do like a little practice or a little thing with you where I want you to look in the mirror at yourself. Hold this. I want to make sure you can still be looking at nothing else. Make sure you can see yourself. And I want you to list all of the things that...
The purpose of the mirror activity was to allow the client to get in contact with her emotions. The client was in contact or was placing intellectual words and descriptions on her emotional feelings.
Make you broken. I want you to look in there. Look at me. Look in there, and I want you to list everything broken about her. Everything broken about her. Everything. It's everything. I don't care if it's a word, an animal. I don't care how you got to say it. I want it to come out. I need it to come out. Everything broken.
My spirit is broken. I feel like my relationship is broken. My family ties are broken. My financial situation is broken. I
need you to look at this broken young woman. I need you to look. You got it. You can do it. Just look. I need you to look at the broken woman. I want you to look at her.
I'm always happy when I'm around everyone else, but when I'm by myself, that's when I really feel broken.
Okay. So, why is it so hard to look in the mirror at yourself?
I don't like what I see often.
Okay. And so, what about that person do you not like?
Sometimes I just don't like the way
Baby girl, we don't care about all this physical image stuff. We don't care about that. That's irrelevant, okay? If I wasn't on camera, I don't need all this. Because all this doesn't matter. It doesn't. It's what's in here that matters. This is on because I'm camera ready. Without this, I don't need it. Because if this ain't right, all this means nothing. You can't hold on to nothing with this. You can't. Okay? So you a mess in here, that's why you gonna look a mess out here. Because this comes out. This is your seed that's planted internally. All this is the growth in your branches. And so if you ain't growing roses, daisies, and flowers in your external garden, internally you planting weeds and some stuff that's messed up. And that's why you're unable to look at yourself in there and understand and say strongly, I'm not broken. I love myself. I'm successful. I'm confident. I have self-esteem. Because you can't, that's a mask. That's a mask. So the amazing thing is you control this because it's you. This is your situation. The question is, are you ready to take off the mask? Are you ready to take the mask off, take the image off, and start to work on the broken young woman so that you can stand tall and look in the mirror and say, today I love what I see. Everything that I see. All of this that I see. And you can't cheat on me no more. And you can't mistreat me no more. And matter of fact, you ain't got to pack your bags because they've been packed a long time ago. Bye. And I don't give you permission to treat me that way. And best friend, I love you. I want you here. However, you're not in need. I want you here because I'm strong enough and solid enough to do what I need to do by myself. But I love you and I want you in my life, so please don't go. There's a difference. There's a difference. So now I want you to stare in the mirror and I want you to tell me all the beautiful, amazing things about yourself. Because I know you know that because that's your mask. That's your image. Let's see what your mask looks like.
I don't think we have enough time in the show for that.
See? Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, are you ready? Are you really openly, honestly, not 92%, not 12%, you can't have, just not no gray area in this. Are you ready to take your mask off and really begin your healing process? Because it's amazing when you get there. It's amazing. It really is.
I am. I'm tired of being unhappy. I am. I mean, I'm 28, no kids, and I have a lot ahead of me to not be happy and being able to endure it and enjoy it. I am ready.
And you do know that you are strong enough to endure anything that you got going on because you created it. Anyhow, so about you, your image and stuff. So about you being willing to start the process and take your mask off. Do you know what I'm referring to when I say when I say your mask or your image? Do you feel like you have a mask or image you're upholding?
Sometimes, but sometimes I just think I'm just being me. So, you know, I guess when you get used to something, you don't really recognize when it's different.
Yeah. That's true, because it's a pattern and it's learned behavior and you
Right.
get stuck in it, and oftentimes we get comfortable and stuck in dysfunction, and like you said, we don't even realize that this is dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
Right. Just like someone who lies constantly, they just don't recognize that it's a lie. It becomes the truth. So
Absolutely. So do you understand when I was referring to how I was saying that your fear is sabotaging you? In the sense of when fear sets in, you're not in a loving place.
Right.
And so the only thing left we have to do, because see, our body, let me give a good metaphor analogy. When someone goes out and they consume too much alcohol, they call it the hangover. What happens is once your body reaches its alcohol consumption level, it rebukes, it vomits out whatever's not supposed to be in our body. Because the body is so miraculous, it heals itself. It does everything on its own, it really does. Mm-hmm. So when our emotions become too much for our bodies, we have an emotional hangover, where the depression is equivalent to a hangover when you've drank too much. Anxiety is equivalent to a hangover when our body has consumed too much pain that we can't deal with. Fear sets in. The only thing the body knows to do then is to sabotage and to act out fear in a physical form. Fear internally is hurt, pain, I'm scared, I'm lonely. Fear in a physical form is anger, sabotaging opportunities, businesses, and then sabotaging our self-worth, which is what you've been doing, like we spoke about, when you are giving individuals permission to treat you a certain way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the ultimate thing for you to do is to stand in your power. And at some point you are, because I'm planting that good seed for you, you are and will be able to look in the mirror and stand in your power strongly and not list only the physical, tangible things about you that are beautiful. You are going to have a list of things that you can offer somebody besides your money taking care of them, besides the tangible material things that you've listed that are internal. So it's going to take a very spiritually, internally wholesome, connected person to be able to deal with you as far as the relationship wise. Do you know what I mean? Because you won't be attracting so much brokenness because you won't be as broken.
Right.
And it's just the truth, because two brokes don't make nothing but a broken. Two halves don't really make a whole. That's not how it works. Two wholes make a whole, and it makes a healthy dynamic.
Right.
Because love is not pain. It's just not at all. But no one can provide that for you until you provide it, obviously, for yourself. Mm-hmm. Right? So, in a world where you had no pain, no fear of being alone, nothing, no fear at all, I just want to hear what would be your perfect world. I'm not scared of nothing. I'm not scared of being alone. I'm just perfect. And I'm strong. And I'm beautiful.
Well, my perfect world would be, just having a career that I want, having, I guess you could say, the tangible items that I crave for and that I want, and just being surrounded by positivity all the time. I find myself in negative situations all the time, or putting myself in there, kind of on the defense. So I just want to be able to wake up and be happy. That's it,
Right.
I mean, there's always going to be stress. That's inevitable. There's nothing that can stop that. But just being able to say that and look back at 20 years now in my life and just say I enjoyed my life. I did what I wanted to do because I wanted to do it, and that's just what it is.
Right, which is trusting the process. And when you become wholesome internally, not externally, you will no longer be on the defense. I mean, we're human, maybe once in a while, but really no longer be on the defense. You won't have so much resistance to things, which is resistance and defense is the same thing. When someone says something you don't like or they're touching a certain spot, because wherever resistance is, pain is. Wherever defense is, there's a need to protect. And if you say something to me where my blinders go up and I'm on the defense, that means I feel at this moment I have a need to protect myself. So you're not going to say this to me. You're not going to, because I have an open wound that you're poking at. Because see, if I didn't have an open wound that you were poking at, there's no need for me to protect. What am I protecting? Mm-hmm. There's nothing to protect. And so as you sit by yourself and you sit in your feelings and you lean into it, I'm telling you, your defense mechanisms will go away. Because you'll always be operating from a loving place. And when you're operating from a loving place, there's no fear or anything that will be able to break through love. Just like you can bring light, a little light, to a room of darkness. You can't bring no darkness in here. It's just not possible. You can't. This is a black mirror. You can't put this anywhere and bring darkness. It's not possible. It's proven. So when you become that light, which is you already are love and light, but when you internally deal with your pain, you'll notice that you'll be the light in the dark room versus the kind of feeling dark within yourself in the light room of going through the negative experiences that you just mentioned, or feeling like you have to be on the defense, because all that is your stuff. All that's your stuff. When you get on the defense, that's your own stuff. That's because something ain't right within your own intuition.
Yeah, I find myself on the defense often when people say things like, I have a very smart remark because I don't know where you're coming from, or I'm angry a lot because I don't know. That's that trust thing where it comes back to
pain. Anger is pain. Anger is pain. Pain is an emotion in here that turns into anger, and then we act out. The bigger the act out is, the louder the cry for help is. From anybody, a child, a person, an adult. That's how it always is. That's pain. And when you're working from a place of love, which you will be able to, you start to de-arm people. Meaning, if you have a weapon and then I get defended, I get my weapon, we're at war. But if you have a weapon and I'm coming from a place of love, I'm de-arming you. So there's a peace treaty. We can't go to war. Doesn't mean that I am weak or I am kissing your butt or I am surrendering to you. That means I'm surrendering to the act of love, which is higher than any of us, because it's all within us. Okay, so Brittany, I want to offer you some homework to do, which
The purpose for me assigning the client homework such as sitting in a place of loneliness or silence or stillness within herself, and or having some type of meditational music playing to stimulate her emotions, was because I became aware that the client was more in tune with her intellectual space, and in order for her to begin on her journey of healing, I need her to be in contact with her emotions.
Will really assist you with getting in contact with your emotions, because I know that can be difficult, because I also have often operated from an intellectual space, and it would help you heal, because with emotions you have to, like I stated before, I believe you have to feel, deal, and then heal. You can't heal unless you deal with it, and you can't deal with it unless you know what you're feeling. Okay, so if you don't mind, I want to offer that you do what you don't like to do, which is be alone. Not for months and days, that's not what I'm saying, but when you're at home or in a space where you are completely alone, I want you to sit in that space for at least an hour alone. No television on. You can put music that generates or makes you feel emotional, that brings out tears, that makes you cry. R&B music, gospel music, slow music, oldies, whatever is your Disney, Walt Disney, Nickelodeon, whatever music, meditational music that makes your emotions stir and gives you that feeling where you're feeling uncomfortable, because you need to be out of your comfort zone emotionally for you to grow emotionally and for you to feel and get in contact with your emotions. Okay? And then as you're getting in contact with your emotions, like say you're sitting there and the music's on, or you're sitting there just alone by yourself, and all of a sudden you just start feeling really scared and alone, like, oh my God, no one's here, I'm freaking out. Lean into it. Verbally or mentally say to yourself, lean into it. And even if you do it physically, lean into it, like you say lean into it and you do this, you'll feel yourself lean more into the emotion, and something magical happens where the emotion just leaves. It sounds bananas, but it leaves, because since you're creating this fear, when you face the fear, it ain't bigger than you, because you created it. Ain't nothing bigger than you. Nothing is bigger than your God, and nothing's bigger than you. Nothing you create can destroy you unless you allow it to in your mind, and that's still a fragment of your imagination that is destroying you, because you're destroying yourself because you created this emotion. So just for your homework, I want you to sit at home, and I want you to sit in that lonely spot. If you're driving home and you feel lonely, good. Turn your phone off, cut the car off, park, and just sit in it, because I need you to get into your emotions. And you may just sit and cry for hours and hours. Now, good, empty it out, because pain is ugly. So when you feel it coming out, it ain't gonna be pretty, because it's pain, it's ugly. It's not this pretty makeup stuff and this beautiful skirt you got on and all these degrees and everything else, and this no, that's not pain. That's your mask. That's your creating this beautiful thing to cover up for. So pain is ugly, let it be ugly. Let's not come out. Let your makeup mess up. That's pain. Let it come out. And empty it out, empty it out, empty it out, empty it out. And you get to the point where you'll be able to sit in a space and your loneliness won't be loneliness no more. It will be filled up with love, and you'll appreciate that space within yourself, because you'll feel everything that you are. Because see, when you sit by yourself, you feel who you are. And right now you're feeling ugly because you are ugly internally, because you're beautiful externally. But you're never going to feel beautiful externally until your internal feels beautiful. And when it's in harmony and balance, whew, girl, I'm being honest, let me tell you, there's no feeling like an internal, external balance within yourself. I mean, you're being your full power, and you rule the world. You will. But I want to tell you that I honor your courage for even allowing me to assist you. And for being open and honest with me. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be in your space, in your world, in your emotions, and to trust me enough to be able to support you in your journey. Because that's my goal, is to serve God and to be able to serve people at all times in all spaces. And I really, truly am grateful and appreciate you for allowing me to do that. And I want to ask, what do you now know that you didn't know before the session?
Well, I mean, I know I really need to just deal with my past and with my present and just overcome it. I mean, I can't let the little negative that there is try to overcome how much positive I have, because I do have a lot going for myself. And if I really took the time to embrace it and appreciate it and cherish it, I think that it will make me a better person internally and externally.
I totally agree. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.